Lenorma. Your name now is Lenorma, isn't it?
That is what I am called.
You've traveled with the Rag and Bone for many years, but that isn't where you started, is it?
No, I did not begin there.
You and your sister Flywheel. You have a shared past, one that fractured. Your parents were roamers. They traveled around quite a bit, but eventually they managed to settle down deep in the mountains, somewhere in Pennsylvania. There, in a cabin, you and your sister were educated and raised. Your parents were, by all accounts, brilliant. They were civil engineers. They understood a great many things, and they taught the both of you. And from the very beginning, both of you exhibited the same intelligence, that same curiosity, the eagerness for knowledge. It had passed through your parents to both of you, but it diverted in each of you, creating very different interests. Flywheel was always drawn to the mechanical, you more to the digital, but that is a rarity these days. Your parents did have some small devices that they taught you about, and you learned how to reprogram a microchip, how to build a motherboard using scrap, even how to store and collect data. You were able to read some of the lost knowledge of a world now so foreign to both of you. All you know are the two humans who cared for you and loved you intensely. There was no hiding the truth of who they were. They only existed to protect the two of you. And they loved you very, very deeply. So deeply, in fact, that they would do anything. And in fact, they did. You and your family were safe there for a while, but when you, Lenorma, Allison, when you were 7, your family, they had to leave. You remember just pieces of it now, fragments of a horrible night, flames and fires, dogs or maybe wolves howling, the enormous growl of some huge bestial creature, arrows flying through the windows, strange people, dirty and covered in filth, rags, almost inhuman themselves, skulls and bones adorning themselves as they attacked and took everything that your family had raised. All of the animals were killed and taken, and they were coming for you next, you and your parents. But thankfully, your parents were very, very smart. They had planned for such an occurrence. Underneath your cabin was a series of small tunnels. Even though they were tight, claustrophobic, you and your family managed to crawl to safety as your cabin burned and the strange cries of these animals rang out in the night as you and your sister, Catherine, ran from a danger you didn't understand. They weren't dead. They were the first people that you remember seeing, but they weren't like your parents at all. They were worse than the dead. They knew what they were doing.
It did not make sense. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, they did.
You ran with your parents to a small shed, and in that shed was a ATV, an all-terrain vehicle that your parents had repaired. Flywheel, you had been part of that process, learned a lot about how it was built. And the four of you together on this vehicle were able to escape down the mountainside. Eventually you came to a small town. This town you knew your parents had gone to many times before. They had told you about it, but you'd never seen it yourself. It was a place called Sullivan Town. There were 20 survivors. It was a growing community. They were strong. They managed to raise crops outside of the enormous overpass that hung over their town like a skeletal hand. But they grew food there, and they had animals. And there were people that were coming day after day and joining them. And they were growing stronger. And your family ran to them. And though it wasn't home, it wasn't your cabin, and it was very different and frightening, the two of you got your first taste of civilization, Catherine and Allison. Until one day, after working for months, your parents, who had done everything they were asked to do, and were bartering for 2 horses and some biodiesel and just enough food to get you onto the road to find a new home. That was the deal. And for months, your parents came home late at night with blisters, your mother and father crying together in bed, thinking that you were asleep, their arms bruised, limping and broken, working endlessly for the people of Sullivan Town, only to collect what they needed so that you could live together as a family. Until that one day. You don't know why your mother shoved you underneath the porch of the small tin shack that you were all staying in, but she did. She told you to be quiet, and then she hurried back. You heard her footsteps, and you could see through the cracks into the street as your father stepped out and was arguing with a man. You don't remember what was said, but both of them were very angry with each other. And then the sound of the gunshot rang through the air. And both of you watched as your father fell to the ground in the dirt of this road, bleeding. But somehow he knew where you were, and his eyes found yours, until the light slowly faded from them. You're there now, both of you, and you feel a hand on your shoulder, Lenormand. It's your mother from the porch above you. Somehow she's reached in through a broken board that she's pried up. You see her face through the crack. Allie, Flywheel. Allie, I need you both to not question what I'm about to say and just do it. I need you to run. Run as hard and as fast as you can into the woods and wait for me. I will be there. Your father and I will be with you in just a few minutes. Run and never look back, never come back to this place, no matter what happens. And if I don't show up, I need you to keep going for me.
You have made a promise. You must keep that promise, Mummy.
Ellie, you both have to grow up so quickly right now. I'm sorry. I believe in both of you, and I know the brilliant people that you will become will change this world for the better, but you have to run right now. You hear shouting as your mother looks up and pulls her hand back. The same man is arguing with another man, the man who was the sheriff there in that town, Sullivan Town, and now there's a new argument, but you can hear more of this one. And eventually, the sheriff, seeing what has happened here, steps to the side as the other man who shot your father starts moving towards your mother, gun drawn. This is the justice of Sullivan Town. This is what this authority has allowed. You see, both of you are outsiders. You're not part of Sullivan Town, and therefore, you have no rights. What do the two of you do?
I pull Lenormand's hand. Come on,
It doesn't make sense.
come on.
It's not fair.
Doesn't matter. Come on.
It's not fair.
I know.
This is not
I know.
this is not how it's supposed to work.
Come on. And I try to run us out before.
Do you allow that, Allison? Do you leave? Or does your sister have to pull you away?
It's Kathy. I will follow her.
Parents gave her the name Flywheel. That's what they called her because she would never stand still. Flywheel. Now, the two of you are running into the forest. And when you get far enough away, panting, you finally, almost without any choice, you stop and fall to your knees. Both of you crying and sweating and breathing so heavily as if the air just can't get into your lungs fast enough. And all the both of you see are your father's dead eyes staring back at you.
It did not make any sense. And Mommy lied. There was no way Daddy was coming. Does that mean Mommy's not coming? Flywheel, does that mean Mommy's not coming? This does not make sense.
We need to find somewhere to stay.
That was somewhere to stay. Where we were before was somewhere to stay.
Somewhere new to stay.
This will happen again. The community was
Not
wrong.
Not if we don't go back.
That community was wrong. Those rules were wrong. Those rules were unfair.
Hours go by. It's night. Your mother never comes. How long do you wait there on the edge of the forest before you finally realize that your mother, just like your father, is dead?
Mommy promised. Mommy promised Flywheel. It has to be fair. It has to make sense.
Sometimes people can't.
Make sense? Mommy and Daddy always made sense. It's not hard to make sense.
Maybe other people don't.
Then if other people don't make sense, then other people should die. Not Mommy and Daddy. Not us. If they refuse to make sense, why would they choose to not make sense? That is a choice. It's a choice.
We should stop waiting.
Mommy promised.
We should go.
Mommy and Daddy promised. Mommy and Daddy are very smart. Mommy and Daddy have a lot of worth.
They're not coming! And we have to go.
Where?
I just point. Just pick a direction and point.
We have to leave something for Mommy. We have to leave something for Mommy for when Mommy comes so that Mommy knows where we are going.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Allie takes out a very small knife,
Mhm.
basically a penknife, and puts their initials, scratches it into the bottom of the tree, and then also an arrow in the direction that they're going.
So they do. And then do you continue to mark the trees as you move through the forest?
Methodically marking trees.
And the two of you go deeper and deeper into the woods that you know nothing about. And you get hopelessly lost, and you nearly die. Days go by, weeks perhaps. Both of you become horribly sick on the berries that you eat. At one point, you manage to kill a crow with a rock, and you eat that raw because you're afraid to light a fire, even though you know how. Your parents taught you. They taught you so much. But so much of it doesn't seem to matter out here. There are no machines to fix, no computers to type into, no logic, just nature. And both of you are lost in the middle of it. And you probably would have died if the others hadn't found you. Feral, dirty things, but not like those that chased you from your home. They were different, they were young, they're like you. So many of them, 10, maybe 12. Brightly colored hair, colorful rags, strange weapons that they'd made themselves. But they seemed to be healthy. And they took you both in. And it was there that one of them gave you the name Lenormand. And for years, the two of you became the people that you've become in those wild places of the world, without walls, without civilization. You were free. You lived. You lost friends. It was dangerous still. You learned how to move amongst the dead to survive. And then one day, as you're scouting out, finding more salvage and scrap to bring back, things that can be used and built and traded with some of the echoes. That's what you call the people who seem to continuously try to rebuild cities and live lives like they lived before what you know as the fall. They're stuck in the past. The two of you are part of the future. But you do trade with them. You interact with them. You find other people. They're strange. Mostly merchants, people who are traveling between communities. Neither of you really step into cities too often, towns, although they do begin to crop up more and more often. You stay on the outskirts. You stay safe. But as I said, one day, that all changed. You didn't realize it. It kind of snuck up on you. You and some of the others who had traveled far, further than you usually do, and you were gathering pieces of metal that could be melted down and remade into new things. And then you saw it outside the grove that you were standing in, Sullivan Town. You were back. It looked much worse than it had when you were here last. Run down. Didn't seem like there were a lot of people left. There's the slow, silent ring of a bell, and you watch as enormous trucks with other people start to roll into Sullivan Town. They were different. They all wore the same clothing. You remember what used to be known as the military. These people were like that. The books that your parents taught you about history. Yes, these are military people. Perhaps they were part of the world before, but they seem to be doing very well. Their machines and their trucks are pristine, Flywheel. Lenormand, they all look healthy.
They have structure.
They have order.
rules. They have order. They have hierarchy.
They have an engine I can probably take a few pieces from.
I mean that this might be a better place. Look at what they have done to the place that killed Mommy and Daddy.
As
They
you say
have-
that, someone comes out from the gates and a woman steps out from one of the vehicles. Rowan, you're entering into Sullivan Town. It's time for tribute. Tribute for the Citadel, the reclamation forces of the United States of America. You are a lieutenant in that force. One of the solemn soldiers of a dying world. You and the people that you gather are the last hope humanity has. And sometimes they don't see what's best for them. Do they?
Not usually.
The man in front of you, Smithy, has always been a problem. He's got a bulbous red nose. He's older, an echo, remembers the world before. Used to be an accountant or something, but he keeps tabs of everything here in Sullivan Town, and you know for a fact that you were shorted last month with the promise of new tribute being made. Rowan, I know you're upset with us. I just want to make sure that you understand that we're going to make it right. We can't do it this month either. The crops aren't yielding, and you took all the animals from us last month. I can't do a lot with what we have left.
Do I look the least bit amused by any of your excuses?
He looks deeply nervous. Would you make an intimidation roll for me, please? Do you remember how this works?
Possibly.
You have 4 competency points that you're free to use.
I'm going to go ahead and use one of them.
All right. And how many degrees of success does that give you?
That would, I believe, get me 1.
Okay. It's enough to terrify Smithy. Nervous and sweating, he looks back and then looks to you. Okay. We have a lead. And if you give us just a week, I promise you, it's a mine not far from here. We can get what you want. And more. Rowan, I just need you to give us a little more time, Please. Please.
I'm feeling a little bit gracious today.
Clear relief across his face.
But remember the deal. You lose your usefulness to us, and we lose you.
I understand. And I promise, Lieutenant, that this will be the last time we can produce again. We can be helpful to you.
Save it.
Lenormand, you've watched this woman as she's flanked by others in uniforms with weapons. And you watch how the people of Sullivan Town grovel as she enters into their space. They fear her. They respect her. She's bringing order to Sullivan Town.
Which it needs, which it needed before, which it didn't have. The books always said military and police were good. The books we read that they're right, and this is military. They have technology, and look
Lenora,
at her.
This is community with fancier clothes.
This is order and structure and meaning.
No. It looks like that. But you know what? I remember that they said Sullivan Town was order and structure. And look at what that was, Lenormand.
Well,
look at what that is.
They did not tell the truth. They have to tell the truth.
What makes you think they're...
Look how organized they are, Flywheel. Look at that. Sullivan was not organized like this. And that is why Sullivan...
So what do you want? Do you want us to take notes or something? Take it back to the group? What?
That group is not very structured either. It is very loose with rules and a lot of emotions and this group looks like it has the structure needed, the community needed, something that Mommy and Daddy would have wanted us to have, wanted us to be a part of, to make things stronger, to make the future better.
Unfucking believable.
Look at them, Flywheel. Do you not see what I see? Do you not see the trucks? Do you not see the order? They follow her. We don't even have that in the group that we're in right now.
Order does not preclude betrayal.
There would be less betrayal if more people followed the rules. If more people said what they meant.
What do you want to join them, Lenormand? Do you want to go and be a part of that group, put on those fancy ass vests and walk in a line with them?
They have a lot of machines that you would also want to look at. I'm sure that they are. You do not have to scrounge with them. Look, they go to communities and they get the materials you need already. We could.
Haven't I looked out for both of us?
Yes. But they could look after both of us so you would no longer have to. This is something that could make sense. I don't understand why this isn't something that Mommy and Daddy wouldn't want us to have.
We don't know what they wouldn't want or wouldn't want us to have. Okay. All right. Okay. Lenormand, you want to try it? Go try it.
Okay, so we will go
but
try it.
I am not joining you.
You join me on everything. We are together, always.
Whatever that is, I'm not fucking doing it.
But you love machines, and look at the machines that they have. I
love that machine. I can steal it.
They have many guns. I don't want you to get hurt. Instead, why don't we try? We can try. We can leave.
They are going to hurt us. They're going to hurt you.
But they are military. They are just like the books say. They win.
Like I said.
They are proud. Look at them.
Go try it. Go try it.
I do not wish to do this without you. Why do you not love me enough to join me?
I don't love you enough. I love you too much for you to be another person that I watch die. So you go off and you get killed, but I'm not gonna fucking watch it, so.
They would not kill me because I follow rules. I follow rules that make sense.
You know
I
what?
am great with technology. You are great with machines. We would be valuable.
Okay.
We would be assets. The community would make sense.
You know
We
what,
would be
Lenormand?
together.
Why don't you go check it out for me?
It is very rare when you lie to me, but I can tell each time you do it. You have a lie in your mouth right now.
You want to do it. And I don't.
I can show you. I can show you that this is right. I can show you that this is right for us. I can prove it to you. Give me time. Give me time. I will prove it to you. I will prove it to you.
You go
We
do
can
that.
we can meet. We can meet somewhere after a certain amount of time and I will bring you proof. We can meet at the place. We can meet at the place. The same place in the winter. And I will prove to you that this is right. And when I prove it to you, you have to promise to come with me. When I will show you the proof. Please make this promise for me.
I'm not gonna do you the indignity of making you a promise that won't necessarily be kept.
Then you will at least listen with my proof. When we meet at the place in the winter, you will at least listen.
Yeah, I'll listen.
And Lenormand, do you leave your sister and walk back into Sullivan Town to meet these people who bring order?
I will prove it to you. And you will be happy there, as I will be happy there. And it will be just like it was with Mommy and Daddy when we could learn and build and be safe. And I will prove this to you.
And when you look back, Flywheel isn't there. And you don't see Flywheel again for 5 years. And year after year, you show up in the place. Flywheel isn't there, but you keep going. They don't question you too much. Rowan, you are very good at seeing talent, eagerness. You know what makes a good soldier. You know what makes a good operative. You also know that the Citadel needs more than just soldiers. It needs people who can build infrastructure, who can create stability, who can bring people back from the edge and give them the things that they need so badly, the things that they forgot that they even needed. This young girl, 17 maybe, it's hard to tell. She doesn't remember exactly either. She has potential, and so you brought her in. You all left Sullivan Town and returned to the Citadel, and now she just has to prove herself. You've given her every advantage in preparing her for this moment, but it's time for her to run the gauntlet. The two of you are standing before it. There are others who are making their test now. Yates, a scraggly boy with brown hair, and another feral named High C. Stark red hair, tattoos across the face. Always hard to control, wild, willing to do anything you say, but difficult. And Carmelita, quiet, reserved, smart as well. And then there's Lenorma, who by all accounts is a genius, has been able to do things for the Citadel that adults twice her age can't do. Knowledge that she should not have. You have a small database now. She's able to rebuild the old computers that this complex holds. This used to be a military base, one that used to hold reserve troops, mostly just a weakened spot for those who thought themselves soldiers. The reserves. You served for real in the middle of the shit before it all went to hell. You weren't a weekend warrior. It was your life. And now Lenorma has to prove that as well. The two of you are standing before the obstacle course. What do you say to each other before the starting pistol is shot?
How do you feel?
I have already eaten. I've already slept. I am not thirsty. And I have warmed up my muscles. I feel that I must be honest. I have built a number of small yield explosives that I intend to use on my combatants within this course. I am very clear on what the rules are, and as long as I am first, that is the only thing that matters.
Exactly. Just remember, you have something amazing. It's right up here. So, some of the other ones might get a little rough and tumble, but use your brains. Common sense is not as common as you think it is, especially these days. So, you already got a pretty strong leg up on the competition.
I do not expect for the others to survive this initiation, but if they do, that is a good mark in their favor. I shall not lose.
One of the other lieutenants from the wall above both of you is chewing on a cigar. Rowan, what the hell are you doing down there? If you're done fucking around, maybe we could get this show on the road.
A little pep talk is good for the kids sometimes, all right? Like, let me do what I do.
Yeah, we'll do it a little faster. I want to fucking eat lunch eventually. The other lieutenant, a man known as Riggs, grabs a gun, holds it up into the air, and fires twice. What do you do, Lenorma?
I immediately take 2 of these small yields that I have, and I toss it into the group as I run.
They're effectively short fuse pipe bombs, right?
Yes.
Once they hit on contact like C4, their impact is going to cause them both to explode. High C and Carmelita don't stand a chance. They got about 5 or 6 feet onto the boards that lead up to the obstacle course. And then those boards are destroyed by the explosion. Their burnt bodies fall to the ground, charred and smoking. Yates screams and starts running, knowing that he's not able to go back as he sees the look in Rowan's eyes and the gun at her side. He runs on another board, 3 over further from the carnage that you've just caused, and manages to get a good ways ahead. What do you do now?
I run forward. Is this the last person that is in my way?
Just one, and he's got a head start on you now.
I run forward and I look at the obstacle course. The next point that is within my throwing distance, where I know he will not expect, that is where I will throw my next bomb.
You won't be able to do that from here.
I am running at the same time.
I'd like for you to make, using your current stats, I'd like for you to make a jump leap. As you move from board to board, you start leaping over gaps that are intentionally kept in them. This obstacle course is a series of bridges built on scaffolding, metal scaffolding with these wooden walkways. They lead in a circuitous labyrinth, but underneath, the dead roam.
This is slightly cocked.
All right.
Reroll that one.
I'm assuming it was low.
It was low. Well. Only counts if it's in the dice. Fair. Same. So I rolled a 38. My jump leap is a 35. So
You have a wash.
Mm.
How many competency points would you like to spend? Any? I mean, this is your gauntlet.
I will spend one.
You almost slip. Your foot slides across the board. They've been greased. You managed to grab onto a rope at the last minute and pull yourself up. You weren't expecting that. You were so focused on your enemy, the boy ahead of you, that you lost track of your surroundings. In a moment, you sort of see Rowan in the distance. Rowan, what's your expression?
Trying to keep my cool, but there's a little sweat on my brow.
Lenorma, Yates is ahead of you even further now. You're going to have to gain ground somehow before you can throw your last bomb. And I will say that you did succeed. You did grab onto that rope at the last minute, but if you had fallen, that would have been very bad for a few reasons.
At this point, I make the decision that I will full tilt run ahead, and my number one intention is to throw this bomb to take out my last combatant.
So be it. Again, focused on your opponent ahead of you, you charge forward. You know now that some of the boards are greased, and you manage to accommodate for that fact. You push forward, faster and faster, running, again, losing your breath, gasping as you charge forward. I'd like for you to make an endurance roll for me.
Yeah, she is not a runner, y'all. That is a big fail. I rolled a 93 and I have a 35.
Well, that's 5 degrees of failure. You are able to spend competency if you like, or you could just take the catastrophic failure, which will not kill you. I will tell you that, obviously.
I will do one of my remaining competency points
That will take the edge off of this, to be certain.
because I'm saving the rest for the throw.
Of course. However, you did fail, and you lose momentum, you lose your breath, and you nearly buckle over as you begin to pant, as if you can't get air fast enough. You've pushed yourself probably too far, too fast. You were gaining ground on Yates, but then you failed. But so did Yates. Yates has also rolled a catastrophic failure. And as he charges forward, he fails to see the guillotine slide off of the platform that he's just walked in onto. He pulls forward fast enough that he doesn't die, but he leaves his right leg behind him as it's severed. He's bleeding out. He's screaming in pain. There's only one path forward. One of the traps has been triggered. You're now in the lead, technically. What would you like to do?
I would take the path that I know that was the safest.
There's
The one
only
that has already been triggered.
And do you throw your bomb and finish off Yates, or do you leave Yates where you found him, bleeding and screaming on the ground, crying, begging you for help?
He is no longer a combatant in my way. There is no need to do a waste of my bomb.
So you continue
But
to
I
carry
will
it?
finish this race.
Do you
And
continue to carry the bomb?
I continue to carry it.
Okay then. I only need you to make one final roll to complete your gauntlet. Make a final jump leap. Add 1 black die of difficulty. For those who do not remember the rules, whenever a black die is added to a roll, that amount is subtracted. Any roll of a 6 explodes and you must roll it again.
Okay. 38 plus 9.
All right. So
My jump leap is a 35.
you have a 47.
So that's a one degree.
1 degree of failure.
1 degree of failure. I will do. Would a wash be okay? So I can keep 1 for the actual game?
You can try.
How about this? I'll use both of the ones that I have left. But I will throw my bomb unerringly over my shoulder to destroy Yates as I cross the finish line.
If you spend those remaining competency points knowing that we're about to leave this time period and return back to the rest of the game, knowing that you will still have no competency points, I'll allow it. You've
But
spent
I'm-
all of your competency.
I'm just saying that as a grenadier, it
Mm.
has been in the past when one does something spectacular within what they do,
I'm going to allow for this to be a spectacular explosion.
but perhaps they get a competency point down the line because of the spectacularness.
Perhaps down the line, but this is now. For now, Yates is destroyed. The explosion decimates half of the course. You hear cursing from somewhere where Riggs was, as this obstacle course has been decimated by you. You managed to slide through the finish line. There was razor wire in the last 30 feet, and you just plowed through it. You're bleeding from multiple cuts, but you've succeeded. A jeep drives you all the way over Rowan to the end of the course of the gauntlet. Body parts are in the road. This was the most destructive gauntlet that you've ever seen. When the jeep stops, you see Lenormand, panting and bleeding heavily, nearly doubled over on the ground, but alive, and the only one who survived.
That was a show.
I do not run well at all. I never have.
But you made it out, and that's what matters. And you won. I appreciate your bomb first, ask questions later motive. Riggs, not so much though. I might avoid him for maybe a day or so. But
The rules were very clear. I did follow the rules.
you did. You very much did.
The only one that passes the finish line is the one that wins.
You won. Let's get you cleaned up a little bit here. We don't need you dying of gangrene before we can even do things with you here. You got a little bit more training. Mostly cardio. A little bit of balance.
I have always been better indoors.
Gotta strengthen both areas, those. Again, balance. We'll work on that.
But I did good.
You did fantastic.
Years go by, and you are a valuable asset to the Citadel. They train you. There is order. You learn even more. They have books. They have technology that you've never seen before, things that your parents didn't have access to. Lenorma, you're learning about the world. You're also learning about what happens outside of it, out in the wilds. Groups come and go, even to the Citadel, trading, rag and bone, they're called. Merchants. And as the years pass by, your time with the Citadel is fruitful. You become the person you are now, strong and independent. But you never forget about Flywheel. You never forget about your sister. And you miss them desperately. And one day, as you're passing through the corridors, into one of the far secretive hallways that no one comes down in the Citadel, a place where you keep a lot of technology, workshops, benches, tools, crates of things that no one else knows how to use. You've fixed radios. The Citadel is able to communicate better than ever before because of you. You're making this community stronger, and you reap the rewards that come with that. One day, as you're returning down this hallway, one of the lights in the workshop is on. It's never been like that before. It's always been just you.
I go to the workshop. Electricity must not be wasted.
You hear the generator off in the distance. Someone's turned it on without your permission.
No one is allowed in my workshop without my say-so. I will go and turn off the light, and I will find out why this person is there.
As soon as you step into the room and move towards the generator, you see a man standing before the workshop, the bench holding tools, welding something together, something small. You see that circuit boards are spread out, and he's doing something to one of the broken radios. He has goggles on and doesn't seem to notice you coming in.
This is not your workshop. You are using tools and materials that are not yours alone. What are you building?
The man turns around, surprised, startled. He seems very unassuming. He's tall, he's thin, he's got straggly hair that's kind of pulled back in a bun, but it's all over the place. He's wearing clothes from the outside, handmade things that no Citadel member would wear. I'm really sorry about that. Is this your workshop?
This is indeed my place of work.
Both Rowan and Riggs told me to come here and work. I'm Kusanagi. And he holds out a hand to you.
I am Lenorma. Lenorma does not hold a hand out.
Of course. Lenorma, this is brilliant. You gathered all this together?
I did not go out and gather it myself. It was brought to me when I requested things.
I understand. I have a few friends that also gather things like that out there. Bring it in, and I usually am the one who fixes things.
I indeed build and fix things as well. Rowan said that you could be here.
Yeah, they actually didn't say they ordered. They didn't give me any choice. I'm not really here of my own free will, but hey, I guess we all do what we have to get by. I'm happy to help out a little bit, at least, for a while. Hey, do you like anime?
You are speaking of cartoons that specifically come from Japan. I have seen many of these animes.
You know, Lenorma, I think you and I are going to be great friends. And now we'll move forward to a very different place. Rivertown. inside the medical ward. A long sea container, metal on all sides, that's been refitted, welded together with an awning, and inside, multiple beds. Inside, there are no other patients except for one, Starburst, the strange young wildling that you pulled out of the wreckage of a helicopter not long ago. She was covered in old bite marks, scars, and you discovered that she was immune to the virus, immune to the dead. She couldn't be turned or infected in the same way that everyone else could. And Doctor, you were doing your best to protect her. And then you learned something, Synod, about one of the people here. A gardener, someone who had taken care of the fields, took a liking to you, took you out, and showed you his real garden. The dead have been used as fertilizer here, and slowly this population has been poisoned, infected. It was intentional. It was seen as justice, judgment. It was done to try to help the community according to the madman that confessed to both of you. But in that confession, your entire group, your merchants, your rag and bone group, you took action, didn't you?
He needed to be stopped. I rang the bell. And the wildlings came and helped us as well.
And he threatened us.
That didn't seem to matter to the children of Lincoln. One in particular, Zeke, locked you all up, separated you. Lenormand wouldn't be divested of their equipment and wouldn't be patted down. So the two of them are in a different container. You two are currently in the medical facility now with the doors closed and locked from the outside. You heard chains wrapping around the handles, and you know that there is no easy way out of here. There are some air vents, but they're not big enough for anyone to crawl out of. The two of you are in this space now, and only the unconscious Starburst is with you. There's a weak light that flickers, but otherwise you're in the dark.
Are you awake?
Barely. What happened?
Nathan blew way the fuck off the handle, and I guess the townies didn't like that we attacked one of their own, even though I tried to explain it to them, so we're trapped in here for now.
What knocked me out?
Yeah, Nathan tried to kill you. You don't remember any of this?
I do. I remember going after him, lunging at him, but I don't know what happened after that.
They have him, so it's fine, but I think we're in trouble now.
Why are we in trouble?
I mean, I told them what we knew, and they didn't seem to give a shit.
We
are the ones. Yeah, we're the ones locked in this building. I don't know what happened to Flywheel and Lenora. They're probably somewhere else, and hopefully Nathan's still locked up somewhere too, but...
Yeah.
Listen, I've been obviously stuffing my vest with all this shit that's in here. We have medical supplies. I mean, we could leave here, but Starburst is still out. I don't know where the others are.
How's Starburst recovery going?
She's still unconscious. She won't wake up. She was attacked in our building over there, even though it was locked.
In our quarters?
Yeah.
Somebody got in.
Yeah. Well, you guys are all out doing... Where you were hanging out with Nathan.
I was not hanging out with Nathan. I was sent on a patrol.
Why did you let him take you to that field? What the fuck was going on?
This was Zeke's fault. Apparently the normal patrol is Zeke and Nathan, and sometimes somebody else accompanies Nathan, which I think needs to be looked into. Because Zeke went off one direction, and then Nathan and I went to the ridge to go check on the horde. And then that's when he decided to show me his garden, his collection of Romeros that he's been using to taking the decomposition from them to fertilize.
Right.
You got the story.
Which is making everyone fucking sick.
Yes.
What? Do you think Zeke knows about this? Is that why he brought you?
I don't think he does. Because Nathan specifically said that I wanted to swear me to secrecy to make sure that none of Lincoln's Lincoln and his family can't know about this.
Why you? What did you say to him?
I was nice to him.
Why are you nice to fucking everybody?
Well, maybe somebody needs to be nice to people so that they can.
Well, where did
confide
he get
in
you
them.
this time, huh?
I'm still here,
Somehow. Nathan was gonna kill you. He had a knife to your throat.
but he didn't.
You have a cut on your neck right now.
Well, maybe you should look at it.
You're not gonna die from the fucking cut.
Well, I don't know.
I need you both to make spot listen checks.
It's 2 degrees of failure.
4 degrees of failure.
Neither of you notice anything. Please continue.
What did you say to him? Why did he decide to open up to you?
I didn't say anything. He just wanted to show me. What would I say? I was just being nice. I was being friendly to him. That's literally all it took.
And why didn't he tell anyone else in this town?
He doesn't trust the people in this town. I think he wanted to confide in us because he saw that we were outsiders, and he himself felt like an outsider. He's been here for longer than us, but
All right.
there's no way to make sense out of his motivations and what he was trying to pull. But he I don't know.
Listen, we have to be ready. They're not gonna let this end here. They locked us in this fucking building. There's no way they're gonna just let us go.
Well, we'll just figure it out. I mean, all I got to do is show them. Prove to them.
The hill?
Yeah. I just got to take them there.
I guess, but what if that doesn't work?
Can't you test the food? Can't you take some sort of sample from there and compare it to something that's happening, whatever the soil they're using to fertilize the crops? I mean, there's a connection. There's a scientific connection that you can make between that as the cause of what's happening here.
Well, you and I both know that no matter what the science is behind something, no matter what the reasons, people are really dumb. And this could end badly for us. And if we need to cut and run, we need to figure out how to do that. We are locked in this building right now.
Then we leave.
What about the other two? What about Starburst?
Well, Starburst is the priority. I think that we got to make sure that Starburst is safe. I mean, that's everything.
I mean, I could assume if we leave, and we have to leave Flywheel and Norma behind,
They'll catch up. They'll find us.
they'll know where we're going.
They'd leave us.
Yeah. They're smart, though. They're tough. Let me see if I can wake up Starburst. This is ridiculous. I'm going to go over to Starburst and try to use the smelling salts that I acquired last time.
Go ahead and make an advanced medical roll for me.
That is 6 degrees of success.
There's no such thing. There's only 5.
I'm sorry. It's
But I
fine.
will give you an additional competency point.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
5 degrees of success. I was going to tell you that Starburst is in a coma, that you won't be able to wake them up. However, because you have 5 degrees of success, I think that I should give you something. And I'll let you choose. Make some progress towards helping Starburst recover, or I'll allow you to figure something else out about her bites.
I would take the chance to learn something.
About the bites.
Yep.
She remains in a coma. You know that that isn't going to change for some time. You don't know if it'll ever change. She is well and firmly immune. However, you know that these bites were intentionally placed upon her. And those aren't the only scars. She's been operated on. It looks like they took bone marrow. You find against her back the telltale markings of needles. Large needles. The only reason you can think that they would want that is so they could try to synthesize her blood, so that they could try to do something with it, to take her bone marrow and create something from it.
Senate, whoever got to her first got everything they could. I don't know if me analyzing her is going to do any better, but there's something about that group that we found her with. That soldier, the armor was... It's different.
Advanced.
It wasn't the Citadel.
No.
Listen, we don't know what's going to happen next. Fuck.
We have the cards. Remy. And you are indispensable. You sell yourself short, and they know what you can do here. These people here that have been getting sick have only been getting sick because you've been helping them. And if you weren't here, things would have been a lot worse for them. They know that.
What about you?
Well, I've been helping you whenever they've given me the chance.
I think we're gonna have to tell them it's a little more than that. I'm not... Listen, I know it's been a tough couple of years. But I'm not leaving here without you. You know that, right?
I'm not leaving here without you.
We're probably gonna have to do something really stupid to get out of this. We'll see what happens next.
How much time do you think we have?
Oh, fuck, I don't know. Enough time. Sorry, Starburst. And I walk over, and I promised her I wouldn't do this, but it's too late now. And I take some of her blood.
You draw her blood. You have a vial.
I pack it with my things. I have Dr. Henry's notebook still. I have the vial. I have medicine. I keep the bag hidden in a corner near the door. Alright. I have what we need.
Now we just gotta wait for them to come and let us out.
Yeah.
Lenorma and Flywheel. You're in a much smaller room. Little more than a shed. There are some tools in here. Shovels, mostly. Door's locked. It's dark. There's no light at all except for the small amount of fading light from the flickering torch lights and the lanterns on the outside. They're getting further away, but you do have a small amount of light leaking in from the sides of this building.
I do have a question.
Very well.
If Lenorma, Flywheel, and Meg Ryan can make a formation.
Yes. You've done it many times in the past. Before them, you will do it again in the future, I'm sure. You can make a formation.
And we are in a formation.
Thank you for telling me. You know I would have held you to it if you had not. So the two of you and Meg Ryan, the capuchin monkey, are in this dark shed, locked away. What did the three of you do?
Well, fuck. This always happens with every community. It is only a matter of time. We are always outsiders.
Always happens. But hey, love it when you can predict a pattern, right?
It does help to know what the future will bring, even if it is a dark one.
Exactly. So what do you think? Are we getting out of here? Are we waiting and trying to play nice?
If you would like to leave and try the door with one of the tools that I'm sure that you probably still have secreted somewhere on your body, I am open to that. I am also open to listening to what they have to say. Jaden does enjoy our company a great deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zeke is the one that was going absolutely buck wild, so we might still have a chance.
And in their hierarchy, Zeke is lower than Jaden. However, if we do break out of here, that would change things.
And they have my gun.
They made me leave my cattle prod on the ground. I did not appreciate that.
I don't want you to not have that.
I really wish that I had it as well.
Yeah.
We have an accord. We do need to get our weapons back.
There's a rattle on the chain, and someone seems to be unlocking the door. You hear the tin door squeal as it's pulled open, and there's lantern light, fire, that illuminates a number of the citizens of Rivertown. Standing at the door, having just unlocked it, is Jaden. He looks very sad. He's a handsome young man, but there's something about his face now that seems a little haunted. He looks to the two of you. Hold on. Then looking back to the others, I'm going to talk to them, and you're going to stand out here, and I want you to just give us some space, 10 feet or so. The others sort of hesitantly walk further back, still pretty much surrounding any exit that you would make. So if you try to run for it, they're not holding guns, they're holding lanterns and things, but you can see the guns at their sides. They have sidearms, and some of them have weapons, melee weapons, bats and axes and other things strapped to their back. They're ready for trouble. So is Jaden. And Jaden walks in with the lantern and closes the door, making the space even more crowded. Do the two of you want to explain to me what the fuck just happened?
I mean, it's not too hard to explain. You were right. Nathan. Yikes.
I fucking knew it. I knew we couldn't trust him. He was so weird and secretive. I didn't like the way that I should have seen this.
We were only able to hear a small amount of what has been going on. I was not that interested at the time. I felt very betrayed.
Just saw that he was doing some weird laughing and also
Apparently,
some weird knife
something
situation.
is going on with the food that Nathan is doing. Nathan has been doing something with the food. The other half of our group knows the details of it.
All right.
Whatever it was, he was maniacally happy about it.
I think we had a lot of self-restraint.
I ended up not killing him, but I think it would have been a good idea.
Yes.
However,
It absolutely would not have been. My father's red hot pissed, and you don't want my father mad. I have to take you to the ballroom, and there's going to be a tribunal, and they're going to judge you and your companions. Even though Nathan clearly wasn't on the level and causing harm, your actions superseded those of the family. Our laws and our justice are ours to enact. You should have just brought the information to us. I can only do so much.
an alarm was rang, and he was incapacitated. What more could be asked?
That's not what Zeke is saying. Zeke has a different story, and we're going to have to go through this just to clear it up. Honestly, I'm going to speak for the both of you. I have only met your companions a couple times. I don't really have any ties to them, but I'd like to see the two of you. I'd like for you to make it out of here without a scratch.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, Nathan was one of yours, huh?
And we are not.
No, Nathan was on a trial basis as well. But you took action that superseded the decision of the group. You had an altercation that shouldn't have happened. At least that's how Zeke's painting it. And so my father has to be the final arbiter. He's going to pass judgment, and I'm not going to lie, it's probably not going to be really good for that Senate guy, even if he was in the right. Lincoln doesn't put up with much shit.
Can Meg represent us?
Flywheel, this isn't a joke. I wish it was.
can joke about a lot, Jaden.
Jaden looks very sad. Looks back to the two of you and is much more morose than you've ever seen him.
We have been a great asset to this community. Each member of the group has.
I'm not going to argue that. And yeah, the doctor's really probably going to save a lot of this, help sweep a bunch of it under the rug, because the doctor's a doctor. And even if it's a problematic doctor, my father's probably going to overlook a lot of what you did.
And I'm sure your community enjoys your clean water from the irrigation system that I am fixing.
All of your skills are appreciated, but that doesn't matter when it comes to violence within the walls. The rules are clear. There aren't many of them, but those rules have been broken, so it has to be answered for.
10-4.
Jaden leads you both outside, and this group surrounds you as you are marched across the walkways on top of the river. There are more lanterns and torches burning, and it's really quite beautiful as the river's fairly still right now, and it creates a mirror-like sheen across the water as all of these wooden structures that are linked together by bridges and walkways, twisting together in interesting ways. They stretch out before you, and Jaden leads the way as other members of the citizenry march you effectively to what is referred to as the ballroom. It's a large central area right in the middle of the river. You've never been in here before. You've heard about it. It usually is where Lincoln holds court. It's where Lincoln speaks to everyone, including the family, and they make plans for the future. And you've never been allowed this far in. You've never been allowed inside of this place. And the huge double doors are already open, and there's a hall, long, wooden boards that have been smoothly polished and shine in the firelight. All the way over on the far side of this room is a simple chair. One chair, nothing fancy or special about it, well made, but about as basic as a chair could be. There are people standing here, though, all around that chair, and you're walked forward. Doctor, you and Senate hear the door open. The chain loosens, and the creaking of the doors ring out through this metal box that you're inside. Your things are still here. There's a group holding lanterns. Zeke is leading the way. I need you two to come with me. My father wishes to take care of this matter.
Fine.
I'm looking forward to explaining what happened. I mean, it's very simple. I don't know why we're being punished.
You took our laws into your own hands. You made choices, and you brought violence into the walls. Lincoln doesn't like that.
Zeke, come on, man. You told me how much you didn't like that guy. I saw how you were with him. You don't trust him. If someone
It's out of my hands now,
no,
outsider. It's out of my hands.
You're an insider. You can have my back.
He looks down and he sees something on the ground, and he bends over and he picks it up. It's where you were lying down when you were dragged into the room. It's a little tuft of hair tied with a ribbon.
That's fine.
Is it?
Yeah.
And you can have it back later.
Give it back to him. Now, please.
Zeke, that's very
It's
important.
personal.
What is it? Is it dangerous?
It's not. It's just a tuft of hair.
Just hair.
What the fuck are you carrying hair around? You're some sort of sicko?
It's.
You carry trophies of your kills?
I take the locket off my neck. And I open it, and I show him that there's a lock of hair in there as well that matches. It's from her son.
Zeke goes pale for a moment. You can see that he feels some remorse for the interaction. And without saying anything else, he sort of hardens once again and hands you the tuft of hair.
This must have fallen out of my locket. I'm gonna open up the locket that I have that's identical to Remy's. And I put the hair back in.
So, anyway, my father needs to speak with both of you.
So he will.
This is pretty grim, is it, Zeke?
It's not good for you, no.
Can I
It's
have
pretty bad, yeah.
a minute? Just a minute of privacy to speak to.
I don't know where you think you are, Senate. I don't know what you think this is. You fucked up.
We are reasonable people that were in danger, and we defended ourselves.
Great.
That's all we did.
That's it.
Tell it to my father.
We will.
Despite his clear dislike of you, Senate, he gives you a minute.
Why do I expect people like them to be reasonable?
I
should
told
know
you
better.
it's not going to go well for us.
Then we need to plan a way to get out of this. I'm just gonna try to make a case. I don't know what else to do, but they've been doing business with us. They should just let us go then.
I grab my bag and I take out a few of the small scalpels that I had put in there. It's not a lot, but here, just hide it somewhere on you.
All right, I'll take it. I'm your assistant after all, even though they don't let me assist you and they
Make
send
a
me on a
stealth
chop of
roll
wood.
for me, please, Senate. A stealth roll, as you're trying to conceal a weapon on yourself.
To 1 degree of failure.
Do you want to spend some competency to change that?
Fuck.
Fuck indeed.
No. I'm gonna keep it.
All right, I'm going to make a spot listen check as you're being marched into Lincoln's ballroom.
Before that, though, look, no matter what happens, we have to live. We have to figure out what's going on with this girl, with this notebook, with this world. We can't. This is not where it ends for either of us.
I don't plan on having it end for any of us here.
So if things are going to shit, we have to figure out a way to get out.
But some things are not in our control. We
Okay.
can't control everything.
I know, but we both have legs. We can run.
I reach out and take your hand. You see like a moment of kind of surprise. I wasn't actually expecting you to.
Well, you might end up dying here, so...
No, we're not gonna die. Hey. It's been about a year.
Yeah.
And we haven't said anything. We barely even say his name.
Your time's up. Zeke is at the door, sees you crying. Both of you holding hands. Come on. And you're ushered across the walkways to the middle of the river.
Wait, just hold it for a little while we walk.
Okay.
And you enter into the ballroom, and you see Flywheel and Lenormand, and a lot of people here, in a half circle around a single simple chair. The door in the back opens, and a very tall, lean but heavily muscular man with a craggy, ruined face and a patchy beard enters in, looking cold and stony at each of you, weighing your worth in his hard glare. And then he sits down in the chair. And Zeke, strikes Sinnott across the back of the head with a rifle butt.
What the fuck?
We'll be right back. The man who's sitting in the simple chair, in this wooden structure high above the river, with firelight flickering in the corners, very simple. The man has seen a great deal, older in his 60s, a gnarled face, a patchy beard, dark and salt and peppered with gray. His hair is cut very short, but also graying. He's wearing simple, homespun clothing. Nothing fancy. No signet of office or anything that would make you think that he was anything else other than one of the members here of the community. But there's something about his stature, his size, his presence, that completely lends itself to his full control of this community. With his presence, the rest of the citizens of the docks, Rivertown, are completely silent. Without a word, Zeke swings with the butt of his pistol and strikes the back of Sinnott's head, throwing him forward.
Hey, what the fuck?
I need you to make an endurance check, please, Sinnott. With, we'll say, one black die as well for a dice of difficulty.
Man. That is 1 degree of failure.
Would you like to spend some of those competency points that you're hoarding?
If I give you 1, does that make it a wash?
It makes it a wash. I won't knock you unconscious, but you're going to take a level of damage.
I'll give you 2, if that'll...
It'll mitigate the damage and keep you from being unconscious.
Great, I'll do that.
How many competency do you have left?
That brings me to 1. We start with 3.
You do.
Down to
I
1.
knew the answer. I was asking just for the fun of it.
Just for the fun. So audience knows how close to my demise I am.
You fall forward, and as I said, you don't lose consciousness. It hurts. There's a little trickle of blood around your ear. But other than that, you're conscious, and you feel Zeke reaching down to your pant leg where you hid the scalpel. He takes the scalpel unless you fight back.
I'd let him take it.
He pulls out the scalpel and throws it into the empty space between you and Lincoln.
That's mine.
Zeke doesn't say anything. You can feel Lincoln's eyes now on you. Doctor, we have not had an occasion to meet yet.
That's correct. You've been well then.
I'm known as Lincoln. This is my home. This is the home of everyone here. You've helped us in the past. You've offered your skills, which are considerable. We've had a number of doctors come and go, but none of them have been as good as you. So, taking that into account, I'm going to be very lenient in this tribunal. You will speak when called upon, and you will not speak outside of that. If you do, things will get worse for you. He slowly stands. We have rules for a reason. We keep our laws ourselves. Outsiders are just that. Outside. If you bring violence into my walls, there must be a price to be paid for that action. No matter how much good you do, the irrigation systems, the generators, even the logging that you've done, son, all of that has been greatly appreciated by the citizenry of this town. But none of it matters if we devolve into the chaos that exists outside of our walls. Without rules, we fail and fall. All of this is taken away from us. So I may seem harsh to you. You may not understand the judgment that I lay before you, but you will accept it. Do we understand each other? All of you may speak. Do we understand each other?
I hear you.
Crystal clear.
I require clarification on the rules of speaking. Would you prefer for us to raise our hands to speak, or will something be passed around that
I will
once
call
we are-
upon you when it is your time to speak. Do you understand that I am currently asking for you to abide by our laws?
I understand rules and laws very well. I was simply asking for
Thank you.
clarification.
Yeah.
The man who you had an altercation with is missing. I want to know from all of you right now that you had nothing to do with his escape. I know you had an altercation. I don't yet fully understand what it was about. I have heard rumors, and we're going to get to the bottom of this right now. Senate, step forward.
I step forward.
I understand that you were the one who directly fought with the man known as Nathan.
I defended myself. He had a knife that he had made out of scraps, and he was intending to use it on me.
And why was he intending to stab you with a knife, Senate?
He had started to reveal, make a confession of sorts, and about something a project of his that he has outside of these walls. Part of the reason why he's been volunteering for the patrols. We rang the bell because as soon as he admitted what he was up to, we were seeking to inform you. He was very suspicious on that hike, on that patrol. And he became violent as soon as he knew that we were going to turn him in.
Doctor, what was your part in this?
Senate brought Nathan to the medical ward's doorstep, and I came out and I heard Nathan's part of the story, and I drew the conclusion that from putting the remnants of Romero's into your crops, that it is making your whole community sick. And Nathan tried to convince me. He really is very good at talking. He's very charismatic. But he tried to convince me that it was for the greater good. It didn't matter how many of you fell, if his plan worked. And that's when I rang the bell.
Lincoln's face is like a brick wall. You can't read him. But there is something in his eyes when you say all of this. Something has shifted. Your name is Lenorma.
That is what I am called, yes.
You like laws and rules.
That is how a society prospers, with rules and laws.
You are quite right, child. Step forward, Lenorma. Do you understand the laws and the rules that we have? You've been told them before. They're quite simple.
That there must not be any knives.
That is one of them, but just one.
The one that seems to be the most pertinent one for right now is violence within the walls.
Correct. But I want you to tell me the truth. You will tell me the truth. Isn't that right, Lenorma?
I do not lie. I always tell the truth.
I can see that in your eyes, and I respect it greatly. He looks down at you. He gets a little closer. Tell me about this starburst. Why is she here? What happened to her? Why does she hold so many scars on her body?
When we were on our way for trading, there happened to be differing hordes of Romeros that we encountered. Due to a number of practically ingenious things that my sister did, along with myself, we were able to get back on track, so to speak. The other half of our team recovered a survivor that was running from this horde. That is Starburst. When I first saw the numerous scars on Starburst's body, I assumed that it was a consensual sexual thing.
There's not a snicker in the room, and Lincoln's face doesn't change.
I am not a doctor. I do not have a medical opinion on what it is beyond my original thought. I have not had a chance to talk to Starburst since we have arrived at Rivertown. I am certain that Starburst would have the full story of everything. But out of everything, the doctor would be the best person to ask.
I asked you,
Personally,
though,
I do not see why someone would enjoy being bitten in such a manner, but it is not my vibe, I believe is the term.
are you saying to me now that you do not know why she has been bitten? Or what those bites came from?
I know that those bites had to come from people because they look like those bites are not dogs. They do not look like bears. I have seen both of those bites, so I assume that it is a people bite. But like I said, I am not a doctor. Perhaps they are from babies.
Child, you may step back now. Thank you for your testimony. Grace, will you please illuminate our guests on what you saw when you entered into their cabin when you first found Starburst on the ground with the door open? Sort of shy-looking girl steps out from the crowd, and it's another one of Lincoln's children, Grace. You've had altercations with her, Doctor, arguments. She was the one who found Starburst and alerted you to the fact that she had been attacked, or what she thought was her own doing, damaging herself, trying to escape or crawl away. You never quite convinced her that there was somebody else in the room because she didn't believe that that was possible, but Grace is there nonetheless. Father, I saw wounds on her body, and she'd been recently bit on the shoulder. We were told originally that she hadn't received any bites, and she's covered with other bites that are scars. But we watched and waited. I think she's still alive, and she hasn't changed. Lincoln looks to you, Doctor. Would you like to explain how this is possible?
I would like to explain how it's possible, but I frankly don't know. I need time with her to find out why she's not turning into Romero. I admit we did try to hide this fact from your community at first because we weren't sure if we could trust you. And quite frankly, this is all a lot. And she's immune, though. She's been bitten, she's been experimented on, I think, by somebody. And she's still here.
Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us tonight?
I mean, we are all here in an act of goodwill to stay here and contribute to your community. I think we've all been doing a great job. This is just one thing that is a misunderstanding, But it's... Nathan was poisoning your town.
And I'm taking that into consideration.
But Starburst is a different thing altogether.
Exactly.
Before any of this, before I was in Rag and Bone, before I knew any of these people, I know this sounds stupid, but I think there's a way to fix this. I think there's a cure. And I think Starburst might be the key to that.
You
So-
believe this to be true?
I believe anything's possible with science.
He turns his back to all of you and takes a deep breath. Turns towards Jaden. Makes a motion, very slight. Jaden steps out of the room into the door that Lincoln had entered into and then comes back in. Zeke produces a old wooden table, sets it out in front of all of you in the center of the room. Jaden has a box and sets the box on the table in front of all of you. It looks exactly like the box that I've placed in front of you now. On top of it, he places the helmet of the soldier that you found with Starburst. Nothing else you wish to talk to us about.
Well, you already knew. We found Starburst with these people. I saw one person at least wearing that helmet. And by the time we got to her, we could only save her. I don't think whatever they were doing with her wasn't right. What's in the box? Have you already opened it?
We have. It was found in the wreckage of a helicopter. But you knew that already, didn't you?
Are you speaking for everyone? I did not know that. We did not know there was a helicopter.
We did not.
If
Is that the case? They never spoke of the helicopter. You saw the explosion, but perhaps you didn't know. Neither of you knew?
We did not know that there was a helicopter, but honestly, I do not know if I would have cared if there was one.
Very well. Then Lincoln looks to you and then looks back to you two.
we knew there was an explosion, and in the moment, a very large horde was starting to overtake us. We had to act very quickly. We had no time to look through the wreckage of whatever that might have was.
I've heard enough.
See it.
Tonight was about trust, about whether or not you could be brought into this community easily. It's clear to me now that you cannot, but that does not mean that trust cannot be earned again. You'll be given the opportunity to prove yourselves, reprove your worth to this community, to serve Rivertown. My sentence is as follows. Senate, I'm sentencing you to 6 months hard labor without compensation. You'll be working the lumber fields as you have been. After that time, you'll be given the opportunity to either join the community or to leave it. Any further action, any further betrayal, any sort of violence that is enacted in any way, shape, or form will mean that we'll find ourselves right back here, and I will be much less forgiving. Do you understand?
I hear you.
Should we find Nathan, we will execute him immediately. That is his sentence. Death. Doctor, it was my hope, my sincere hope, that we could do this peacefully. That we could bring you into our fold and make you part of this community easily. But you've proven tonight that you are willing to lie to us, that you are willing to hide very important information from us, things that directly affect my people. Do you understand the danger that we are in? Do you know what this means?
I know that we are part of the Rag and Bone, and trust has to be earned. And you didn't have it from us either. We were only here for 2 weeks. It turned into longer. We never meant to stay.
But you did bring her into our community, knowing that these people had her for some reason. You endangered all of us. And for that, I sentence you to 6 months labor within our camp. You will continue to be our doctor. There will be no compensation. At the end of that time, you will be given the opportunity to either join our ranks or to leave. Do you understand?
Yes.
Lenorma and Flywheel, your part in this was much smaller. And my son Jaden speaks very highly of both of you. But you did enact actions within this camp that could have endangered all of us. Do you understand why that was wrong?
You are saying that if I was one of the members of the camp that were like Zeke, a type of police, then I would not be standing here at this time. My actions would have been okayed. They would have been warranted, even though they did help save this community. I understand that that is what you are saying.
I am choosing to believe what Jaden has said, and that both of you had very little understanding about the situation, and that due to the ties of your companions, you chose to stay loyal. That's not something that we see as a crime, but you have aggressed against another within our walls. However, I have decided that I am going to be lenient with the two of you. You're free to go, or you're free to stay amongst us. But if you stay, you need to know that no further mistakes will be allowed. Nothing like this again, at least. Do you understand?
I understand what you are saying.
For the rest of the evening, until things can be settled and we can finish our search for Nathan, all four of you will be placed into the hole. It is a series of cages, and you will be held there for the evening, at which point you will be released. But until Nathan is apprehended, we can't risk any further disruptions. You will be taken care of. It is not inhumane. It's just confinement.
May I speak as the person who was last with Nathan the longest?
You may.
It is my impression that Nathan might not have been acting alone. And so there could be people nearby or other accomplices of his that would be an immediate threat. And I understand the need for a punishment, an immediate punishment for us, but I think this coming together is an opportunity for us to prove to you that we will defend the community if it requires it. Every single one of us would. That's 4 able-bodied people that you'll be down if you're up against something that you haven't quite understood yourself yet.
We'll keep that in mind should an attack come, and frankly, I'm fully expecting one. This, he points down to the box and the helmet, this doesn't end here. You understand that, don't you? These people, whoever they are, they're not outfitted in a way that makes sense to me, or you, I would imagine, and people with that sort of power, they never let go of something that they want. And I believe they want Starburst.
Someone's already tried to take her. We don't know who.
Very well. This tribunal has been adjourned. Escort the merchants to their quarters for the evening. And he sits back down in the chair. Zeke and a few others kind of flank all of you. Jaden looks to you two and has every expression across his face that says, please, just do this. Please, just do this. Doesn't say a word, but you can see it in his eyes. What do the two of you do?
And I bow to Lincoln. Mr. President.
I will follow along with my sister, since your rules have said that this is the most fair outcome that can happen at this time.
He says nothing else. And the two of you are guided away. Doctor, you and Sinnott, do you follow? Do you allow them to escort you?
Where is Zeke? Is he
Behind
escorting-
you.
Is he escorting us?
Along with others, yes.
I'm gonna follow, and I'm going to turn back to Zeke, and I'm just gonna give him a very understanding, just a thumbs up. I know why he did what he did.
He meets eyes with you and doesn't have venom in them for the first time in a while. But nonetheless, all of you are marched to the western bank, the other side of the river. And there are a series of large, long, tin buildings, reinforced with large, heavy logs, small windows that are barred with welded, almost caging up at the very top, very small, flat roofs. You're marched into this building, and there are a few steps down, but there are a series of holes with caging, fencing across the top of them. Inside, as you pass by them, they're clean, they're not wet, they're hard-packed earth with a very clean-looking cot in each one, along with a small side table, metal, that seems to have been driven deep into the ground with stakes. There are small pitchers of water for you to clean yourselves, drinking water in a plastic jug, and what looks like some dried rations. Each of you are given a rope and asked to be lowered down.
Oh my god.
This is a fucking nightmare.
Now, just trying to be a little logical here. Not saying I won't go in your beautiful, beautiful hole.
That looks
It
very
is
much
not
like a
beautiful
grave.
hole. It is.
Huh.
It looks like a grave. It looks like you are going to bury us and forget about us.
Jaden,
This is what you call a brig.
Jaden
This
looks
is
to you.
inhumane.
Jaden looks to you. Look, I don't like this any more than the two of you do. If you just do this, my father is going to forgive you, and you can be a part of the community if you want, or leave.
Yeah. Great. Totally.
It's just
I
one
love your hole, man. I love it. It's great.
That is
Your dad
sarcasm.
thinks there's an attack
this hole
coming.
Is shit.
So I just want to know if I can keep that rope. So if someone with a gun comes along, I need to know that I'm not going to get headshotted in your lovely, beautiful hole.
Trust must go both ways.
Jaden looks away, and you can see that he's very conflicted. You've had many interactions, and you've made very good trades together. But there was a connection with Jaden made when you helped him find handmade binders that fit correctly. And because of that, he's always been kinder to the two of you and thankful. That's where your friendship started. But you can see in this moment, Jaden can't do anything. He's stuck.
I think we have to get in the hole, everyone.
Can you get me my cattle prod at least?
I cannot give you any weapons while you're in there. If you have something on you now, don't say anything about it. Just lower
I will
yourselves
not
down.
say if I am currently carrying a weapon then.
Yeah, I'm getting in
Flywheel. Just
your hole.
yeah, great. So you're gently lowered down. There's a knot on each rope, and you're able to. They're very careful. There's a crank. They lower you down, and then they pull the rope back up on each one. All four of you, without fighting, are lowered into these holes.
There are
Well-
4 separate ones.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
4 separate ones, but here's the thing. When you're down there, you realize something. They're all interconnected. There are a number of small circular tubes with grating on them that allow circulation from air so that it's not stuffy. It actually is just cool and comfortable in each of these holes, given the situation. You're able to talk to the person next to you. Flywheel, you're next to Lenorma. Lenorma, you're next to the doctor. Doctor, you're next to Senate. And Senate, you're next to someone else. The grating is put over each of these holes. There's just a flicker of light from above, and you hear Zeke. You've got about 2 hours until lights out, and then I'm going to kill the lantern, so make yourselves at home now. And Zeke leaves. It's quiet, but you do every once in a while hear shuffling. You think that there are guards up above you. You're alone, you think.
Flywheel, Norma, thank you both.
Why did you not tell us of the helicopter?
To be honest, I kind of thought you saw it. It was really big, and what happened? I honestly, I really, I don't know.
There could have been a number of things we could have scavenged from that helicopter.
There was no way.
We were running from the Romeros, don't forget.
And
We
it was
could have gone back.
You are
We have
correct.
Been here for 2 weeks. When I think of the technology that could have been gathered and you
it was-
refuse to share that with us.
Just let her. You are right. I should have told you. I'm sorry.
Interesting helmet.
So, that belongs to whoever was experimenting on Starburst.
Dr.
Yes.
Sweet, there are people talking. Do you let anyone know that you're in the cell next to Senate?
She listens for a little while and eventually just lets out a
Oh, shit.
Well, hello there.
how many of you are there that I hear? 4?
There's 4.
It's nice to have some company.
Please.
Who are you?
There are 5.
Oh, thank God. I didn't know they were going to let her come down here with us.
She's with Flywheel.
Is that a monkey?
It is a monkey.
That is Meg Ryan.
I am not going to ask any in-depth questions about that particular thing. You guys sound like... Did you say something about a helicopter?
None of your business, actually. Who are you?
That's probably fair. Sorry, they call me Doctor.
Call me doctor, too. You medic?
In a sense.
And what role did you break?
I mean, rules, there's gray areas to a lot of rules. I feel like I technically did not break any rules. Maybe some people are just a little too sticklery about things.
Did you try to feed the dead to the living as a way to further population?
Absolutely not. That sounds very, very unsanitary.
That was not our rule break, by
no,
the way.
we didn't do that. We didn't really do anything, but here we are.
It is not completely unfair, but somewhat unfair that we are in this hellhole as it is right now.
Yeah, it's actually bullshit.
Yeah, 100%.
I would like, while we're having this conversation, to have emptied out my pitcher
Mhm.
and be using it to dig small grooves into the side of the wall.
All right.
I don't plan on using them to actively escape, but I do not like that we are down here.
So you're digging grooves into the side of the wall with a pitcher. Roll me a depletion die.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Tell me if you get a 6.
Get to use these pretty babies. I did get a 6.
Oh,
About 5 minutes into your work, the pitcher shatters.
Oh,
Fuck. Hey, stop fucking around. What are you doing?
There's a loud breaking noise.
Reading the newspaper.
It's not what that sounded like.
No.
It is not what it sounded like at all.
We're some of us are very clever and are already up to no good, which is actually good.
Through the flickering firelight, Senate, you can sort of see this person. Doctor, would you like to describe yourself?
She was probably late 20s, early 30s, very much wearing not what you would expect a doctor to wear. She's kind of, she looks young and almost kind of hip.
Huh. Can you? How long have you been here?
Storyteller, how long have I been here?
You've been down here for 1 week.
I've been down here for about a week.
1 week. What
Jesus.
did you do?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I did if you tell me what you did.
That is fine. That is fair.
Right.
All right, I pinky promise. I can't reach you, but I'm pinkying towards the ceiling.
That's good enough.
That is good. The deal that you said that you would tell us first. Please continue.
So I brought in some painkillers, and I figured it would be a good thing to share. Everybody needs that. A lot of pain these days. They did not take too kindly to that. They thought I was like smuggling in
Drugs?
drugs.
Okay.
Strange thing to be punished for.
We got a lot of rules here.
I do not remember that rule of not bringing in outside drugs. There is more to your story than just that. It would be great for you to be completely honest with us if you expect honesty in return.
We can get to that, but I technically told you what I did. So you can technically now tell me what you did.
Well, I'll say what I did.
Sure.
Look, what we've learned is everything is a trust exercise. So let's get through that trust exercise. There was I acted in self-defense against somebody that was threatening me with a knife. I will add that they had made themselves. That person who was the true culprit is nowhere to be found. But here we are, taking some of the blame for just defending ourselves.
Speaking of, how long have you been here not in the hole?
Oh, it was pretty quick that I got put in the hole.
Okay, so you don't know the knife thing either, right?
I am not fully aware.
Bummer.
I assume the whole knife thing is about not doing violence or whatever.
I think they'd have it for guns too.
Yeah.
Not sure how this place works exactly. Okay. Well,
So
listen.
The rest of your story then.
Yeah, about that. Well, no, and don't get me wrong. I had the painkillers. Yes, they are for pain. Some people like to take too much of them sometimes, and if they do, that's really none of my business.
So you brought opiates into this community.
So you are a drug pusher, or there is an older term for it, a drug dealer.
Yes.
And there are individuals that overdosed on your drugs. Is that what you are saying?
Do I know if anyone has overdosed on anything.
That was what you were told, but you didn't see it with your own eyes. But given everything that you have seen from Rivertown, it isn't like them to make something like that up. You would judge.
That may have been what happened.
Who did you give the drugs to?
You know, I don't ask a lot of questions. If, again, people have something, they say they need it, they can trade it. But, I mean, the truth is, for the most part, I usually know what I'm doing. I've had to bring people back before when things have gone wrong. And quite frankly, maybe if I wasn't in a hole, I would have been able to do that.
Okay.
Did you make these drugs yourselves? Are you a chemist?
Not these particular ones, but yeah, I can make some.
Neat.
That is a very useful skill.
What deal did they strike with you? You in here for how much longer, and then they let you out, and what?
Oh, not really sure, to be honest.
So you're indefinitely in this hole.
Huh.
Someone must have died.
Dr. Sweets, there's something else. You can tell them or not tell them as you see fit, but in your week here in the hole, you've come to realize that you're not the only one that's being held captive. There are others. But they don't really talk. Most of them whisper. It's unsettling, to say the least. And you've heard the rattling of the fencing above their cages off to the right, and you think they've been getting out.
Okay, so look, it's nice to have some other people to talk to. There are, I think, a couple more in here, but they're really quiet. But I've been hearing whispers and like cage rattling, and I think maybe they might have figured out a way out of the hole. And I think if we put our heads together, we might be able to get out of here.
Well, and I listen to see if we can hear the whispers.
Yeah, I want to do
Make a spot listen check, everybody who's curious, please.
Oh man.
Where is my spot? Listen.
On the right.
Bad.
I have a high spot listen, but not that high. That is 3 degrees of failure.
2 degrees of success here.
All right.
3 degrees of failure.
2 degrees of failure.
4 degrees of success.
All right, that's very good. I'm gonna deal with this individually. You're furthest down. There is a hole on the other side. You don't know if anybody's next to you. You haven't seen anything. It seems dark in there. You don't see anybody through the grating. It seems pretty. The bed's not made, but it's just sitting there. You know. You hear something.
Guys, shh. There it was. It's like a whimpering, a crying. You guys don't hear that?
I believe that I do hear something, but I am not certain what it is.
You think you hear just the briefest moment of something, but then it's gone. You're too far away from it.
Proximity's a killer.
What do I hear with 2 degrees of success?
You also hear just the briefest moment of something. I apologize because I reversed the two of you in my mind for some reason. And so you hear the briefest moment of something. You hear nothing. You had 3 degrees of failure.
Okay, well, you said you've been hearing things. Has anything come into your hole? This whole week you've been here?
No.
I mean, if they're whispering and you hear them, you heard it?
I did hear something
Okay.
briefly, which makes me believe that we
Something
are not
there.
here alone.
You could always ask them, right?
Have you tried talking to them?
Once or twice. Didn't really do any use.
So, question. The I'm in a hole,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's like a grate here and a grate here separating us. So I can see. I can't pass through. We're separated, but there's bars
Mm-hmm.
here and bars here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna search around a little bit. Hey, while we have some light, maybe we should take a better look at our new temporary home.
Sure. I searched my vest. Do I still have my pen light on me? They've taken that away?
They didn't take anything away from you. If you, whatever you have on you, if it was a knife or another weapon or something like that, they didn't search you, Lenorma. They did search everybody else. But if it's a normal item,
Lenorma's armed, but does not have her cattle prod.
okay. Everybody else, you're unarmed, but you do have whatever items you were carrying that would not be immediately seen as a weapon.
I try to use my pen light to assist me to search the hole I'm in.
All right. Everybody can make a search roll, of course, and we can see how you do and move you forward in this investigation.
That was 4 degrees of success.
Nice.
I have 3 degrees of failure because I'm doing
Oh.
great.
Hello. 13.
Can I get like
I have
advantage with
35.
my
What
pen
is
light? No.
I've
3
given you an
degrees?
advantage, but even with a pin light, I don't think I can save you with 3 degrees of failure, unless you would like to spend some competency.
I'm okay for now. I'm gonna wait.
Can we share the pen light through the grate?
Sure.
Yeah, you can pass it back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah, you can pass it. Okay, Lenorma, how did you do?
3 degrees of success.
Excellent. And
I'm guessing that we have been in a hole before.
yeah. Well, the two of you are very good. It makes sense, you know. Having the right mind for engineering, you understand why it's built the way it is. You are down far enough, you know, about 10 feet. So it would be very hard to get up to the grating. However, it is just packed dirt. And it would be possible to probably free the grating with enough force if you could get up that high and remain there long enough. To do that, you would have to most likely create some sort of handhold.
I have an idea if we decide to do it. Keeping in mind, I will be completely obvious here, 1 night in a hole, and then after that, we are free. Another possibility, utilizing the water and scooping out handholds, we can soften the dirt with the water to scoop out handholds to temporarily get up to where the grate is to perhaps shift it. However, we do that, we will never be able to come to this community again.
And I can overhear this, so I'm just gonna throw in that they still have Starburst, and thank you for agreeing to help protect her, but she's still up there. We can't just leave without her.
I am gonna be totally clear with you, Doc. I don't care about Starburst anymore.
I find myself not feeling that Starburst is a part of this team. I believe that Starburst now belongs to this community, and it would be foolish to try to remove what they consider to be theirs now.
I wasn't saying remove her. I'm saying that if you are going to try to escape and you can't ever come back here again, I'll have to stay. But I'm not going to make you two stay.
I
You're-
don't necessarily need to escape right now. I've been in a hole before, and when trouble comes knocking, it is not the place you want to be.
I like the way you're thinking. We should have some
Just
backup
insurance.
plans.
I am armed, if that helps anyone in any which way.
I'm pretty sure they took the weapons from all of you. If you helped me get out, there's a possibility that once I got up there, I might be able to find something to throw to you, get it to you in the event that if you do want to stay in the hole, you're a little bit more protected, because I could do without this community at this point for all I care.
You are not part of our team. If you wish to use our plans to do handholds to the grate and escape, I have no problem with that. It does not affect
rat
me
you
in any
out,
way.
But
We will use you as collateral when they come looking for you.
Probably will wait until you get far away, though, if that
We
helps.
will give you
Right.
time to escape, at least until the morning.
Just help work with us and give us whatever information you have, and then that's a part of the trust building exercise that we're already undergoing. You mentioned that you heard some people rattling the bars.
That's what I think it was. It was really dark in here before you guys had that pen light.
Well, we need to. I'm going to start to just kind of see if I can find a weak spot on the bars that are in between us. I'm going to start with the bars between me and Remy. See if there's anything that's been loosened or weakened.
You're a very big man. You're very strong. Why don't you make a lift pull for me? How'd you do?
I have a 70 in lift pull and I rolled a 71.
So you have 1 degree of failure.
Could I help give Senate competency if I push while he's pulling?
Yes.
So I can give you. How many do you need?
I have 1.
Okay.
I only have 1.
I'll give you 2 then. So now you have 3.
Okay.
Is your intention to try to free the grating from the earthen wall?
Not yet. I just want to see. I'm just trying to see if it's even possible.
How many competency points do you spend?
I'm gonna.
I can give you 2
Yeah.
if you want to use them.
I would like to have 1 on my own left. I have only 1 left.
Okay.
So you spend 2 of someone
Yes.
else's.
I'll give it back to you if
Whatever.
you need it. Oh shit.
Yes. With a good, strong pull, you could probably pull this grate off. It would be easy for everyone but you to probably crawl through these tubes. You're a little too big.
Mm-mm.
It might happen, you might be able to, but it would be very difficult.
I'll relay that information. I think I can pull this off, but I don't think I can crawl through here to get to your grates.
I have no intention of escaping tonight. We are free in the morning. If you wish to help the doctor escape, releasing. Well, now I am confused because there are 2 doctors. Should I call that one Dr. B?
You can call me Sweets.
Sweets? If you wish to help Sweets escape by yanking the bars for them, and I have no problem telling you the mechanics of how to do the handholds to get up out of the hole. Just please simply know that we will turn you in when the morning comes, so please run far. If you run towards the helicopter that is apparently down the railroad, and I mean, if we are free in the morning, I could meet you there if you have already found parts for the helicopter.
We can
Actually,
make
if you
some
do that, I
sick
will
shit.
not turn you in.
I could probably do that. Also, who's the other doctor?
It's me.
So the other thing I could do for you is I do have, not on me anymore, but I have a small stash of some of the other, the goods that I have that, might help you with some of the things that you're doing. You said there was a member of your Starburst or something that's still in there. That was
Yeah.
she in the
Try to
helicopter?
forget that name, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think I'll need them, but where did you get them?
I pick them up where I can. Look, don't try to outcut me.
You're
Of my
listen,
sources here.
You say you're a doctor, but there's no way you could have been educated before the fall. At your age.
No, I wasn't. Everything I've learned is kind of just been off the cuff.
Where'd you get your clothes?
I pick them up as I go. Sometimes, like this jacket, I traded with somebody. They wanted a couple of things, and I had them, and we made a deal.
Senate, I don't think prying the bars off her windows are going to help at all. It's just going to
No,
implicate you more.
I know.
Listen, Sweets, if you want to get out, we told you how to do it. And if you want to make a deal with Lenorma and Flywheel, you're welcome to do so. It's up to
We
you.
will only not turn you in if you go straight to the helicopter and start scavenging. If you do not do that, we will turn you in.
Should probably not actually get our weapons back.
Why would we not?
They're gonna know some shit is up.
They said that we were free to go.
there's one thing that I have learned. It is that if people smell some bullshit, i.e., our new friend missing and us conspicuously weaponed.
I am weaponed, however.
The ones they took from us.
I will get my cattle prod back.
We'll get it back.
All right, well. Look, I guess you're right.
So are you saying we should turn her in no matter what?
Oh, no. I still like the helicopter plan.
Oh,
Do they know about the helicopter?
Yeah.
apparently we were the only ones that did not know about the helicopter.
I said I was sorry.
I accept your apology. I am simply stating facts.
Yes, thank you.
I can tell you at least this much. I can go up there and I will check it out for you, and I'm pretty slick. I get in and out of places pretty quickly, pretty sly, just in and out real quick. I can come back here and at least tell you what I found. If the coast is clear, I'll scavenge it, but if it looks like they've already gotten to it or swarmed it, I can definitely let you know that that's a thing. And I will look for a cattle prod.
They have my cattle prod. There is no point in looking for that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Listen, it's gonna be
Okay.
lights out soon. I think if you want to get to moving, Sweets, you should try.
All right.
Don't let the things up there eat you.
And yeah, Sweets is gonna start digging handholds.
Using your water pitcher?
Yep.
Can you roll a depletion die for me?
Now, I will say, Lenorma's brilliant plan was not using the water pitcher, but rather the water in the pitcher to soften the earth and then dig it out with your hands.
So that you could dig it out for handholds if the earth is
Do you
packed.
use the water to soften up the walls and
Yes,
then
I
dig it
will.
out by hand? You do not need to roll a depletion die. However, this takes time. The lights eventually are out. You're in the darkness, all of you. It's pitch black, no light at all. You can still hear the scraping and digging as Dr. Sweets works through the night. You're tired, but eventually you manage to get up high enough that you can reach out and touch the grating above you.
Guys, I think I got it. All right, I'm gonna try. It seemed like you had some trouble with it, so I don't know how well I'm gonna do on this, and she will try to push through.
You are not very large. You're not very strong, but you push. Make a left pull for me, please. Add 1 black die of difficulty, please, Doctor. How bad is that?
Not even close. That is 5 degrees of failure.
That is a catastrophic failure. I'm going to give you a choice, Dr. Sweets. You can still push the grate open and manage to squeeze out and take the results of this, or you can fall. Now, you have some competency left, don't you?
I do.
You have 4, I believe.
Yes.
You could spend all 4 of your competency and make this just 1 degree of success. My offer stands, and when you fall, should you choose to do that, you won't be seriously harmed, even though it's a 10-foot drop straight down. If you choose to leave your confinement, it will also be a very minor injury. So what do you do?
I'm gonna leave the confinement. I'm gonna spend my competency.
You spend all 4 competency, and you are now without any competency whatsoever. You manage to just barely break open a small hole between the dirt and the cage itself. And it's just big enough for you to squeeze through, but you pull yourself through, and the metal rips across your jacket, through your jacket and through your skin.
Ah!
And you're bleeding.
Okay, there was a little bit of a tight squeeze. I think I'll be okay, though. Shit.
I knew my plan would work. I'm glad I did not do it myself, however.
Always nice to have a test.
Echoes are good for that.
Do I have any? Was I able to keep any painkillers hidden in any compartments in my jacket that they didn't find?
I'm gonna say yes. You had a few secreted away. It wasn't too hard. You have them sewn into your jacket, so you were able to pull them out, and you still have a few. Not much, but a few.
As she's definitely going to take one of them.
All right, so yeah, you lie down and you pop in a couple pills as you're pulling yourself free, still bleeding. It's not severe. You won't bleed out from this wound, but it is enough that you're dripping blood on the ground. It's dark here. There's a faint light up here, from some of the lanterns that are on the top level of this structure. However, each of the holes is very dark and you can't really see into them. But you do see the other cages stretched out before you. There's probably about 20 here. One of them is open as well.
Guys, it's not just mine that's open. I was right. Somebody did get out. There's another one that's open.
That is my cue, and I slide underneath the bed.
Okay, you hide underneath the bed.
Oh no.
Meg follows you.
I would
So-
like to check out what it is.
Yeah, do you move closer to the hole?
Yeah.
You start moving closer. It's dark. As you walk, you have to step across a couple of the cages, and they rattle, but they're sturdy. Sound of chain link shaking rings through the space. All four of you hear it. Dr. Sweets, you get closer to the hole, and you look down. And it's dark. And you don't see anything, but as you look to the edge of the hole, you see claw marks, as if someone has ripped through the earth with their fingers and pulled themselves up. And along the edges, there's blood and broken fingernails and pieces of skin. And it's all around the edge of this hole.
Whoever got out of this hole meant it a lot more even than I did. There's a couple of fingernails,
We can't.
lots of clawing.
It's gone. It's gone. It's too late. It's too late. You can't anymore. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming.
Who are you?
It's not in the hole. It's behind you.
I turn around.
There's a man, old, bleeding from multiple wounds that have been bandaged up but torn off. Part of his face has the skin peeled off of it, and you can see the muscle and the ligaments and some of his teeth shining through the side. You see fingernail marks across his chest, and you think he did it to himself. Do you have a knife? Do you have a knife? I need a knife to cut them out. They're inside, and I have to get them out.
What do you need to cut out?
Do you want to see?
Yeah.
I'll show you. You can make a dodge roll.
Oh,
no.
Why we let her go up ourselves?
Hey.
35 on 35.
That's a wash, and you have no competency left.
Oof.
Let's do this together. You don't dodge, but I don't think you fall down this hole alone.
Oh.
You take him with you
Oh my gosh.
as he barrels into you, trying to shove you into the hole.
Shit.
And both of you fall.
Oh.
Now you have one opportunity. You can turn him and brace the impact. But if you fail, since you were going first, you're going to hit the ground.
Oh.
It would probably be fatal. It's over 6 feet, and you're falling prone, which means that your head is certainly going to hit the ground. So here's your roll. A second dodge.
Oh. Oh my god.
That's 3 degrees of failure.
You hit the ground, Sweets. All of you hear this altercation in a loud, cracking noise. Your head bounces off the hard-packed earth. You feel your right arm break. The bone pierces through the skin, and you think you broke ribs. And there's a ringing in your ears. And as you lose consciousness, you look off to the right, and you see the altar that he made here. Everything, his skin, strange bones, all of it, a strange altar to a dark, dark God. And he's on top of you. And you're losing consciousness. Oh, children of the valley, walking hand in hand. Shh, you're a child now. I'll take care of you. As Dr. Sweets loses consciousness. And that's where we'll end our story tonight.